Hare Krishna, Sri Shwara Prabhu, please accept my respectful obeisances of the Sri Konda Cherished Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Our grace is Sri Guru and Guranga. You're welcome, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming.
Okay.
So welcome everyone to this SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM, the 11th day of the month of August 2023. So today we have the opportunity and great pleasure of having our dear senior God brother, His Grace Sri Ishwara Prabhu, who is going to be speaking to us on SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM. So Ishwara Prabhu, you're welcome. If you're ready, we'll put the verse on the screen and we can start.
All right, I will start with the prayers.
Okay.
Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Radharamana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Radharamana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Gurave Gurachandraya Adhikayat Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tabhataya Namo Namah Ganachimandasya Ganangana Salakaya Chaksusulvita Yena Tasma Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobishtan Stapita Yena Bhutale Sayarupa Kadama Yadadati Sampadantikan Vandeya Sri Guru Sita Padakamala Sri Guru Vaishnava Sirupam Sakajatan Sagana Raghunata Vitatan Sajivam Sadhueta Savaduta Parijana Sayata Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Parasagana Lalita Sri Vishakavitam Sya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanto Radha Kanta Namastate Tata Kanchana Gorange Radha Vrindavaneshwari Visabhanu Sutidevi Panamami Hari Priye Narayana Namaskritya Narayachava Narottamam Devam Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Udiraye Nasta Parishabhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sivaya Bhagavati Uttamas Loke Bhakti Bhavati Nastiki Dhamma Pajita Kadabhota Paramoni Masram Satam Vedam Vastavam Mata Vastu Shvaram Tapataya Molana Sima Bhagavate Mahamane Vapara Ishvara Sadhuridi Avarudi Chata Kitabita Kishanan Yasava Shema Nayan Krishna Palma Purushe Bhakti Uttapadevan Sasoka Moha Bhayapaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasari Gaur Bhaktavinda Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nimise Sasunyavadi Pashacha Dushatarine Vanchakapaturabhyascha Kripasrinivya Evacha Patitana Pavanavebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasati Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So I am very happy to be here this evening on this our wonderful African platform, whereby people can hear Krishna Katha. It has been how many years now? 3 years now? Since the time of COVID. It's 2 or 3 years since platform has begun.
Yes, 3 years now, since 2020.
All right. So which means there's been loads and loads of Katha, Bhagavatam recitation that has gone on this platform. So which is good. And of course, I thank our host, those who have been very, very steady on maintaining this platform. It's not easy. It's not an easy task to day in, day out, scheduling the speakers, maintain that people get to speak and people ask questions, and make the platform very, very interactive. So we have people like Salika Prabhu, Sahade Prabhu. So they've been very, very dynamic in hosting nicely. And of course, I'm very, very, I'm very, very busy myself. As a matter of fact, I was in Delhi today, and I just came back just about a couple of hours ago, because I know that I have a lecture to give this evening. So hopefully, by the mercy of Prabhupada, by the mercy of Vaishnavas, I'll be able to say something meaningful, this evening. So this is very, very interesting chapter. It's about conversation between Narada Muni and Lord Brahma. So whereby Narada Muni is trying to determine the cause of our causes, and the Lord Brahma, being the guru, being the guru of the universe, is our original guru, Lord Brahmaji. So he's giving is supreme authority within this universe. So he's removing all kinds of misconceptions as to who is the cause of all causes. Lord Brahma is removing all conceptions, because we are supposed to do bhajan. Bhajan means to worship. So now, if we don't know who is the cause of all causes, how is it possible to do bhajan? If you don't know who to worship, we find that there are many, many stories which is going to be there in the Puranas, and especially in this Bhagavatam series, where sometimes some people will just be meditating, but they don't know who they are meditating upon. They don't know who they are worshiping. Just like here in Vrindavan, for example, where I'm staying, we're having a very special month, which is called the month of Purushottam. It's a very, very special month that comes every 3 years, whereby it's a Vedic lunar month, and every 3 years, an extra month is added to the Vedic lunar month. So, and it's supposed so that month is considered to be very, very auspicious. Even the Lord said that this month I'm this month myself, so therefore it's called Purushottama Mass. So many, many people will come to Vrindavan. So many, it's like every day you see thousands and thousands of people coming every day, doing parikramas and just visiting the holy place of pilgrimage. But many people are coming because it's a tradition. It has become like a tradition. But so people are coming because they are following a tradition. So which means following the tradition, but you don't know the purpose of why you are coming. You don't know the purpose of it. Sometimes when I'm on the parikrama, which I do every day, so I'll be hearing what people are saying. Sometimes some people will be chanting, they be saying Radha Krishna and then Sitaram. So they'll be mixing the mantras all together, Whereas a devotee normally is very focused. Normally, when you are given a specific mantra, that mantra become, and that which is the mantra of your worshipable Lord, your Ishtadev. So you focus on that mantra, and that's why you chant. That's the base of your meditation. But people just chant all kinds of mantra. They say Ram, Ram, Sita Ram, then there's something and then they will mix it up, or Shiva, all these things, Because people are doing things because they don't know what they are doing. Why? Because they've never listened to a guru. You know, a guru who knows things. So therefore, the example is being shown here by Nadamani, who has seen many things, and then he became kind of confused as to what is the purpose, who is behind all the creations, who's behind the creations. You know, he sees his father is Lord Brahma, but at the same time, he sees that his father is also meditating on someone. You know, because Lord Brahma is the most powerful person in the universe, but he's also meditating on someone. And meditating on someone means somebody's above you. You know, to meditate on someone means a person, someone is above you. Otherwise, what's the purpose? Why you have to? If no one is above you, why will you have to meditate? Why you have to meditate? You know, but we can see every demigod, every god, Shivaji, Brahma, everyone, they all meditate on someone. But Krishna never meditates. Krishna never meditates. Why? Because he's the cause of all causes. You know, ISVARA Parama Krishna, Sachidananda Vigraha Anadhyadi Govindam Savakarana Karana. So he's the cause of all causes. So he doesn't meditate on anyone. Everyone meditates on him. You know, everyone meditates on Krishna. He does not need to meditate on anyone. You know? So and now, of course, we may say that, well, how can you say that Krishna does not meditate? You know, sometimes we see Krishna sitting in meditation. So how can you say that he doesn't meditate? But sometimes Krishna meditates on his devotees. He meditates on his devotee. Why? Because he loves his devotees. So true to his love of his devotees, he meditates on their welfare. He meditates on the welfare of his devotees, because Krishna is called is the Bhakta Vatsalya. Bhakta Vatsalya, which means is the well-wisher of his devotees. So for their welfare, he meditates on them. But otherwise, the Lord does not have to meditate. Everyone meditates upon him. So, Narada Muni, he has been, from the beginning of this chapter, he has been posing this question to Lord Brahmaji in terms of the who is the creator, who is actually the base of everything. That, oh, my dear father, you know, I'm tempted to say that you are the origin of everything. But at the same time, I'm confused, because I can see you in meditation. I see that you're meditating on someone above. So I want to know, you know, about this. So therefore, please give me the answer. So this is what the Brahmaji. So he's now going to start. He's now giving the answer to Narada Muni. So we're going to turn to this verse, which is verse 11. So you can put the verse on the board. So in verse 11 of SRIMAD Bhagavatam, 5th canto. Hare Krishna, are you there?
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Okay. Salika has gone?
Yeah, so.
Okay. Okay.
Still here.
So you can put the verse on the board so that everybody can see. All right. So text 11. So we call chant. Yena sarojisa vishwan rojita rochayamyaham yata ko agni yata somo yataksha graha tarakaha. So I've chanted the verse. So I'm going to do word for word meaning. Yena, by whom, Swarochisha, by his own effulgence, Vishwan, all the world, Rochitam, already created potentially, Rochayami, do manifest, Aham, I, Yata, as much, Arkaha, the sun, Agni, fire, Yata, as, Somaha, the moon, Yata, Cha, no, oh, Yata, as also, Riksha, the firmament, Graha, the influential planets, Tarakaha, the stars. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. I create after the Lord's creation by His personal effulgence, known as the Brahmajyoti, just as when the sun manifests its fire, the moon, the firmament, the influential planets, and the twinkling stars also manifest their brightness. Purpose. Lord Brahmaji said to Narada that his impression that Brahma was not the supreme authority in the creation was correct. Sometimes less intelligent men have the foolish impression that Brahma is the cause of all causes. But Narada wanted to clear the matter by the statements of Brahmaji, the supreme authority in the universe. As the decision of the Supreme Court of a state is final, similarly, the judgment of Brahmaji, the supreme authority in the universe, is final in the Vedic process of acquiring knowledge. As we have already affirmed in the previous verse, Naradaji was a liberated soul. Therefore, he was not one of the less intelligent men who accept a false god or gods in their own ways. He represented himself as less intelligent and yet intelligently presented a doubt to be cleared by the supreme authority so that the uninformed might take note of it and be rightly informed about the intricacies of the creation and the creator. In this verse, Brahmaji clears up the wrong impression held by the less intelligent and affirms that he creates the universal variegatedness after the potential creation by the glaring effulgence of Lord Sri Krishna. Brahmaji has also separately given this statement in the Samhita known as the Brahma Samhita 540, where he says, Yasha Prabha Prabhavatu Jagadanda Koti Koti Sasesha Bashudaya Vibhuti Binna Ta Brahmanis Kalamanam Tamase Sabutam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship. Okay, here I say I serve. But Bhaja means to worship. I serve the Supreme Personality of God, that Govinda, the primeval Lord, whose transcendental bodily effulgence, known as the Brahmajyoti, which is unlimited, unfathomed, and all-pervasive, is the cause of the creation of unlimited numbers of planets, etc., with varieties of climates and specific conditions of life. It says the same statement is in the Bhagavad Gita 14:27. Lord Krishna is the background of the Brahmajyoti. Brahmano hi pratishtaham. In the Nirukti or Vedic dictionary, the import of pratishta is mentioned as that which establishes, as that which establishes. Pratishta means to stand, to establish something, the basis of something, pratishta. So Krishna says, Brahmano pratishta. I am the basis of impersonal Brahmajyoti. So the Brahmajyoti is not independent or self-sufficient. Lord Sri Krishna is ultimately the creator of the Brahmajyoti, mentioned in this verse as Swarochisa, or the effulgence of the transcendental body of the Lord. This Brahmajyoti is all-pervading, and all creation is made possible by its potential power. Therefore, the Vedic aims declare that everything that exists is being sustained by the Brahmajyoti. Sarvam kalumidam Brahma. Therefore, the potential seed of all creation is the Brahmajyoti. And the same Brahmajyoti, unlimited and unfathomed, is established by the Lord. Therefore, the Lord, Sri Krishna, is ultimately the supreme cause of all creation. Aham Savasha Prabhava. This is Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, text 8. Aham Savasha Prabhava. Aham Savasha Prabhava. So this is one of the Chatusloki of Bhagavad Gita, the main sloka of the Gita. Aham Savasha Prabhava. Mata Sava Prabhatate. Iti Mata Bhajantema Buddha Bhava Samambita. I'm going to come to this verse later on. One should not expect the Lord to create like a blacksmith with a hammer and other instruments. The Lord creates by his potencies. He has his multivarious potencies. Parasha Shakti Vidaiva Suyate. In the CC mentioned there, Madhya, 1365 purport. Just as the small seed of a banyan fruit has the potency to create a big banyan tree, the Lord disseminates all varieties of seeds by his potential Brahmajyoti, Swarochisa, and the seeds are made to develop by the watering process of persons like Brahma. Brahma cannot create the seeds, but he can manifest the seed into a tree. Just as a gardener helps plants and orchards to grow by the watering process. The example he cited here of the sun is very appropriate. In the material world, the sun is the cause of all illumination, fire, electricity, the rays of the moon, etc. All luminaries in the sky are creations of the sun. But the sun is the creation of the Brahmajyoti, and the Brahmajyoti is the effulgence of the Lord. Thus, the ultimate cause of creation is the Lord. So there is one verse which was cited by Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Pai. This verse coming from Upanishad. And this verse says there, it says, Natratu soyo bhajana chanda tarikam name vidyo banti kuto yamangmi tameva banti anu bhati savam tasaba savam idam vibhati. There, the sun, the moon, the stars, fire, and lightning do not shine. They all shine only by following the shining Lord. His light illuminates all this. So we can just meditate on this verse, which is being started from the Upanishads, and also this wonderful Bhagavatam verse, whereby Brahma said, is a yena swarocha sabishwan. He said by Ruchita Rucham, he said by for him only, yena means by whom, which is by him only, the effulgence that is coming, which illuminates the whole universe. So Rochita and Rochamiaham. So Brahmaji is saying that is I manifest. Is I create, or Rochayami, the verse that said, I create after the Lord's creation by his personal effulgence, known as Brahmajyoti, just as when the sun manifests its fire, the moon, the firmament, the influential planets, and the twinkling stars also manifest their brightness. So in this verse, of course, there are a lot of categories of knowledge which are mentioned in this verse and the accompanying purport by Srila Prabhupada. But it's basically pointing to us the brain behind everything, the cause of all causes. This universe will not manifest itself, or nor will it operate, if the energy of the Lord if the Lord's energy is not behind it. So the Brahma Jyoti is said to be the basis of everything. The Brahma Jyoti. It's Yasha Prabha Prabhavato Jagadanda Koti. Yasha Prabha Prabhavato Jagadanda Koti says Shavashidati good to be no. So which means by it is all multivarious universe. So many universes are there. But all the universes, they are coming from the Brahma Jyoti, because Brahma Jyoti is the lost energy. So we have the entire universe. The entire universe is there. And the universe is covered by 8 material elements. Now, it was stated that especially our particular universe is 4 billion miles across. This you will find in the chapter, in the Canto 3. Now, our universe is 4 billion miles across. Now, there are 8 elements which covers the universe. And each one is 10 times the previous one. Bhumi Apo Nalova Yokamana Bodhi Evacha. These are the 8 Kamana Bodhi Evacha. So which means Bhumi Apo. Apo means there's earth, which is the earth. And then there's the next one is the water. And the next one after the water is the fire. And after the fire is the wind, the air. And after the air is the sky. So the universe being 4 billion miles across in diameter. So the first covering is the earth, the element of the earth, the earth element, that's the first covering. And that is 10 times the size, the length, or the diameter of this universe. So which means we are talking of 40 billion miles. That is the size of the earth in terms of the size of it. Now, the next element is the water. That also is 10 times the covering of the earth. So which means you multiply 40 by 10, it becomes 400. So that's why the water is always more powerful than the earth. You can see sometimes when there's a big flood, when there's a big flood, water is coming, it just devastates everything. It just devastates everything. So they now, after the next element, after the water, is the fire. The fire is more powerful than the water. It's 10 times. So which means where the fire element, where the water element is 400 billion miles in size, the next element is you multiply that by 10. That's 4,000. No, is it? Yeah, 4,000. And then the next element, the hair. That's another 10. So which means each one is 10 times bigger than the previous one. Now, by the time you reach the the element of the mind, ahankara, the mind, intelligence, and ego. The mind is 10 times bigger. You can say the mind is totally bigger than all the elements of the earth. And that's why the mind is the most difficult to control. The intelligence is actually bigger than the mind. And then the ego is the biggest. That's the ahankara. The ego is the biggest. And this ego is what keeps us in this material world. You know, the ego that I am everything. That's what, keeps us here. So and then after all the elements together, after all the 8 elements, all the way to the ego, so behind all these elements of which cover the whole universe, behind that is the Brahma Jyoti. First of all, there's a river Viraj, the Viraj River, which is the river that crosses that demarcate material and the spiritual world. It's called Viraj River. And then as the Brahma Jyoti comes, and this Brahma Jyoti is the personal effulgence of the Lord. The Brahma Jyoti is the Lord's own effulgence. So the Lord said when he says in Bhagavad Gita that Brahmano he pratistaham, that that I'm the basis of impersonal Brahman, the Brahma Jyoti, so I'm the basis of it, because this Brahman effulgence is the personal rays that is coming from the body of the Lord, this effulgent ray. So again, as I mentioned in the beginning, that one has to understand how the Lord is the cause of all causes, is the basis of everything. In the Brahma Samhita, the Brahma said, it's ISVARA Parama Krishna, Sachit Ananda Vigraha, Anandi Adi Govinda, Sava Karana Karanam. He said the Supreme ISVARA, ISVARA Parama Krishna, the Supreme Controller is Krishna, ISVARA Parama Krishna. And then he qualify him, the adjective, Sachit Ananda Vigraha, is eternal, is full of knowledge and bliss. Eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. And then he said, Anadi Adi Govindam is the Anadi means he has no beginning, but he's the beginning of everything. He has no beginning, but he's the beginning of everything. Then Sabakarana Karanam is the cause of all causes. He is the cause of all causes. And then in the further on the Brahma Samhita, in the further verses, whereby Lord Brahma is saying, Adam Purana Purusham Navayovanam Cha Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Adyam Puranam Purusham Navayovanam Cha. That he is the origin, is the oldest. Adyam Purana, the oldest person. The oldest person. Now, being an older person doesn't mean that he is so old. The big beard is flowing from his. Sometimes when people they want to portray God, that, God is a very, very old person. He's so old, big. But he mentioned here, Nava Yovanamcha. He's eternally youthful. He's youthful, eternally youthful. When Krishna was on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and that time he was speaking Bhagavad Gita, he was in the middle of all the soldiers. And that time, when he was speaking, and he was on the chariot of Arjuna. But at that particular point, Krishna had been on earth for 125 years. Because those days, people live for a long time. In Dwapara Yuga, people live for 1,000 years in Dwapara Yuga. So Krishna had been on earth because Krishna came at the end of Dwapara Yuga. So he had been on earth for 125 years. So he was on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. But even though he was on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he still looks like a 60-year-old. Still looks like a 60-year-old. So therefore, it's called Navayovana. It's eternally youthful. So the ages of the Lord has been described to be 4 ages. There are 4 ages. There's Kumara age, which is the childhood, the Kumara age. And then there's Balika. The Balika means there's a child, and there's a boyhood age, which of course in this and any of these ages he performed so many wonderful pastimes with his devotees, especially his devotees in Vrindavan. And then the third one is called is Kishora. Kishora means the adolescent age. Kishora age. This is around the age of from 8 all the way to 15. This is called Kishora age. This is the time whereby there's a lot of expression of loving dealings between Krishna and the gopis of Vrindavan. And then after the Kishora age, when the Krishna is called fully, it's called a Nava Yovana, which means Yovana means youthful, the youth. And that youth is a permanent age. The Lord is eternally youthful. So a story is there. One time, Narada Muni, he was traveling. He was wandering the earth, going from village to village. He was going here and there. And as he was traveling, when he was in one particular village, he came across one Brahmana. This Brahmana, he was very he was very expert in the scriptures. And he does a lot of preaching. He gives Bhagavad Gita lessons, a lot of explanations, very expert. He knows all the scriptures very well. So this Brahmana, a learned person, so he saw that Narada Muni was coming. So he immediately got up. He said, oh, he very happy to see Narada Muni. He worshiped him nicely. That, oh, my dear Naradaji, great sage, it's my great fortune that you are here, that you've come. You are passing through my abode here. Then he asked Narada Muni, where is he going? Narada Muni said, well, I am going to the Vaikuntha to see Lord Narayana. I'm on my way to the spiritual world to see Lord Narayana. So the Brahmana was very happy. He said, oh, what a great news. When you reach the spiritual world, can you please ask my Lord Narayana, how many more, when will I be liberated from this material world? Is it going to be my life? How many more lifetime do I have to be in this material world? Can you please ask the Lord? So Narada Muni said, yes, okay. I will ask the Lord. I will ask him about how many more lifetime it's going to take you to be liberated from the material world. And then Narada Muni, then he was going, then he came across a cobbler, a shoemaker. So when he came across the cobbler, the cobbler was a simple person, he doesn't have much. He was a simple person. So he's also a devotee. So when he saw Narada Muni, he was so very jubilated. He was full of jubilation, very happy to receive Narada Muni. He worshipped his lotus feet. He washed his lotus feet, with water, and with that water, he drank it and gave it to his family member also, and all that. He very reverentially worshipped Narada Muni. And then he asked Narada Muni that, my dear love, please, where are you going? Narada Muni said, well, I'm going to the spiritual world to see Lord Narayana. So the cobbler was very happy. Oh, can you can, my dear Lord, you can even, yes, I know I'm a very fallen person. I'm a very low person, But can you ask, my dear Lord, how many more lifetimes will it take me to be liberated from this material world? So Narada Muni said, yes, I will ask the Lord. So and then Narada Muni reaches the spiritual world. You know, Narada Muni is a transcendental spaceman. You know, he always travel back and forth. He traveled back and forth from material to spiritual world. Like in one of his songs by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he said, Narada Muni Bhajabina Radhika Ramana Name Nama Mani Udituya Bhakata Gita Same Narada Muni Bhajabina Radhika Ramana. So he said that Narada Muni is always going about with his Veena, plays Veena, he has got a Veena. And what does he say? He's always singing Radhika Ramana, singing the names of Radha and Krishna. So Narada Muni is always traveling. He never stays in one place, always traveling from material to spiritual world. So Prabhupada always call him the transcendental spaceman. So Narada Muni reached the spiritual world. And then as usual, he went to Lord Narayana and asked Lord Narayana that I met these two devotees in the material world. And these two devotees, they're asking me to ask you, my Lord, that how many more lifetimes it will take them to be liberated from the material world? When will they come to you? When will they come to you here in the spiritual world? So Lord Narayana replied, he said, for the Brahmana, you can tell him that it's going to take him another 10 million lifetimes. Not for another 10 million lifetimes that he can come to him. He can be liberated. And for the cobbler, this is his last life. After this life, he's coming to me. So Narada Muni was very surprised. He said, Narada Muni said, how is that? The Brahmana is a great learned person. He knows all the scriptures, always teaching the Bhagavad Gita, the scripture, they put the Shastra, everything. So, and how is it that it's going to take millions and millions of years before we can be liberated from the spiritual, from the material world? And the cobbler is an ignorant person. He doesn't know anything. He makes shoes only. Well, he doesn't have any knowledge of you. So how is it that this is his last life to, for him to be liberated? So the Lord told Narada Muni that, well, you will know if they ask you what I was doing when you saw me. Tell them that Lord Narayana is treading he's treading the eye of a needle with an elephant, taking it this way, that way, this way, that way. Which Lord Narayana is taking the needle, the eye of a needle, is threading it with an elephant. So you can just imagine him. You cannot even see the eye of a needle, you cannot even see it. But Narayana is taking the big elephant and is taking it through the eye of a needle, this way, that way. So he said, Lord said, when they see you, when they ask you what I was doing, you tell them this is what I was doing. So Narada Muni, he came back to the material world. He came back, Asia, traveling. And then he went back to the Brahmana. So went back to the Brahmana's place. So the Brahmana was very, very happy, of course, to see Narada Muni. So, oh, you have come back from the spiritual world. Yeah. So welcome. And then after the reception, the Narada Muni asked, not Narada Muni, the Brahman asked the Narada Muni that what did my Lord say that how many more lifetime do I have to be here in the material world? So Narada Muni said, well, the Lord said, not for another millions of, not for another 10 million lifetime before you can be liberated. So the Brahmana said, what? How is that? Another 10 million lifetimes? I'm a great Brahmana. I know all the scriptures. And I'm teaching people the scriptures. How is it that it's going to take me another 10 million lifetime to be liberated from the material world? And by the way, when you saw the Lord, what was the Lord doing? What was the Lord doing when you saw him? So Narada Muni said, well, when I saw the Lord, he was threading a needle, the eye of a needle with an elephant. He was passing an elephant through the eye of a needle, taking it this way and that way, both sides, this way, that way. This is what I saw him doing. So when the Brahmana heard it and he started laughing, he said, oh, just say, I know you just lie. You didn't go to the spiritual world. You just lie. How is it possible for anyone to be passing a needle, the eye of a needle with an elephant? You didn't say the last impossible to do. You didn't pass it. You did not say the law, and then he chased. He said, just get away from here. He chased Narada Muni away. And then Narada Muni went to see the cobbler. As usual, cobbler was very, very happy to receive Narada Muni, worship Narada Muni and all that. And then he asked Narada Muni that, oh, what did my Lord say, that how much longer do I have to take to be in this material world? So Narada Muni said, well, the Lord said, this is your last life. At the end of this life, you are going back to the spiritual world. At the end of this life, you are going to the spiritual world. So the cobbler was surprised, said, how's that? I'm such a low-class person. I have no knowledge, I have nothing. How's that is going to be my last life? This is difficult to believe. My last life, I'm such a low person. And by the Lord, when you saw my Lord, what was he doing? What was my Lord doing when you saw him? So Nada said, well, when I saw the Lord was threading the eye of a needle with an elephant, taking the elephant back, this way, that way, through the eye of a needle. This is what I saw him doing. So when the cobbler heard this, he fell into ecstasy. He was dancing. He said, oh, my Lord is so wonderful. My Lord is wonderful. My Lord can do anything. He's so wonderful, 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 you know. And then Narada Muni asking that, did you believe that? He said, of course. Just see, if you just with a small seed can become a big banyan tree, which can spread, and a banyan tree can spread for several miles. The big banyan tree can spread just from a small seed. So what can the Lord not do? The Lord can do the most important. The Lord can do anything you want to do. So Narada Muni could see that, yes, there's a matter of faith, that this Brahmana has no faith. Even though he called himself a pandit, a learned person, but he has no faith. He has no faith in the Lord. He has no faith in the capabilities of the Lord. He has no faith in the Lord. Because why? Because when people depend so much only on their knowledge, they cannot see beyond that. Because beyond knowledge is the humility that comes. The bhakti, that's why the bhakti is above knowledge, is above gyan. Gyan is just the beginning. But the bhakti itself is much above gyan. And that's where when there's bhakti, that's where the faith, that's where the strata of the faith comes. And that's where the bhav, the feeling that is there towards the Lord is there. So it's not a matter of knowledge that we can understand, we can understand God. So that's why Krishna said that bhakti aham Shakya said that only by bhakti cannot be understood. Only by bhakti can I be known. So the Lord can manifest anything. So everything is a manifestation of the Lord. The Lord is beyond everything. So in this verse we are reading today, Brahmaji is telling the Narada Muni that yes, don't think that I'm a wonderful person. Don't think that I am the supreme person. Actually, your assessment that there's somebody above me, that is a correct assessment. That's a correct assessment that yes, there's somebody above me. That's because, that's why he's saying here, I said that, I create only after that creation because everything's already there. So what's Brahma? Everything's already, as I said, the seed is there, all the ingredient is already there. Brahma did not create the seeds of the universe. Everything is already there. He just put things in place. He just put things together. He just put things together. That's all. And that's why Brahma is called the engineer of the universe. Everything is a manifestation. Original manifestation is the Lord himself. And that's something that we have to understand. So when we say that Sava Kalam Idam Brahma, Sava Kalam Idam Brahma, that everything is everything is the basis. The base of everything is Brahma, which means the base of everything is the effulgence that is coming from the Lord. And that effulgence is coming from the Supreme Lord, that effulgence. And that's what Prabhupada is mentioning at towards the end of this purport, that he's saying in the material world, the sun is the cause of all the illuminations. For example, we have the fire, the electricity, the rays of the moon, the stars, and everything, all the firmaments, everything. That the sun is the basis of all these things. But the sun is not the end of it. Even though, yes, the sun is the base of creation, but the sun itself is created by Brahma Jyoti. The sun itself is created by Brahma Jyoti. And what is Brahma Jyoti? Brahma Jyoti is the bodily rays of the Lord. The Brahma Jyoti comes from the body of the Lord. That's Brahma Jyoti. Sometimes, if you can get into some lila here, like sometimes when in Vrindavan, sometimes when the elderly gopis of Vrindavan, they will go and complain to Mother Yashoda that Krishna goes into the house. He goes into the house and then he breaks everything. He makes so much atrocities. Even though the policeman, the Krishna is able to find everything. And then, so Mother Yashoda, we say that, okay, is it because of how does he see everything in the, in the rooms, in the house that he goes to, in all the darkened places? So they will say that maybe because Krishna wears so many jewelries, so many golds and all that Krishna wears. So they will, Mother Yashoda will say that, well, maybe he has to remove all his jewelries. If I remove all his jewelries, then he will not be able to see. But they say, no, Krishna himself, the bodily, when he enters a room, everything becomes automatically illuminated. Everything becomes automatically illuminated because everything, his body is self-illuminated. In the chapter 15 of the Bhagavad Gita, it mentions, it says, Yata Bhashate Soya, Napabakuna, what is that? Nasasakuna Pabaka. It said that in that place, in the spiritual world, there is no moon, there is no sun, and that place is self-illuminated. Why? Because the Lord is always there, so it's self-illuminated and that illumination is coming from the Lord's body. Also, of course, the Lord said that Yagatona Nivatante, Tadama Paramama, that place, when one goes there, one does not return. So coming back to the story of when the Brahman, when he was very, very surprised that it's going to take him millions of years before he can be liberated, and he did not believe Madam Money. He did not believe, he didn't have, plus also, he did not believe that the Lord could be doing many amazing things. But at the same time, another story when Mukunda Datta was one of the devotees of Lord Chaitanya. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was there was a pastime of Mahaprakash Lila. This is the time when all the devotees, when they were all worshiping Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and for about 48 hours, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu manifests himself in a very wonderful form. This is called Mahaprakash, a big, wonderful manifestation. And in this particular manifestation, so many devotees are coming, and then the Lord will reveal their eternal identity, and then the Lord will give them blessings. We give them blessing. So as the Lord was doing this, so the devotees, they noticed that Mukunda was not there, because they noted that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was calling all the devotees to come, and they all receiving their blessing, but Mukunda was not there. So the devotees were wondering that how come Mukunda is not here? But Mukunda is very, very dear servant of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was always singing, very, very, he was a great singer, and his singing can just mesmerize all the devotees. And his singing always gives so much joy to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But in this particular episode, Lila, Mukunda was not there. So then devotees asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that, our dear Lord, why you are not calling Mukunda? Mukunda is very, very dear to you. And Mukunda is standing outside, but you're not calling him to be here. Why is that? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, oh, no, I don't want to see that wretched. I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him at all. I don't want to see him. So devotees were very surprised. How come? Devotees, Mukunda is very, very dear to you. And you're also very dear. You're very dear. He's very dear to you. You're very dear to him. How is that you don't want, all of a sudden you don't want to see him? And the Lord said, oh, Mukunda is a pretender. He pretend to be a devotee, and at the same time, he denied my personality. He denied he denied my bodily form. So therefore, I don't want to see him. So, and then the conversation was going on between the Lord and the conversation was going on, because there was a period of time where Mukunda used to associate with the Mayavadis, period of time. But that was a long period ago. And then, so as the Lord was saying that, I don't want to see Mukunda, I don't want to see him. So then Mukunda asked the devotees that, can you please ask my Lord when I'll be able to see him? Can you please ask him? So the devotees, they asked Mahaprabhu that when Mukunda is asking when he'll be able to see you. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, he'll be able to see me after 10 million lifetimes. Then he'll be able to see me. So devotees, they released this message to Mukunda. And when he heard this, Mukunda was very happy. He was full of joy. He said, yeah, my life is successful. I'll be able to see my Lord after 10 million years, after 10 million lifetime. My life is successful. He was so happy. He was jumping. Now I'll be able to see him after 10 million lifetimes. So, and of course, when Mukunda said this, then of course, Mahaprabhu, he was very, very happy. And they immediately called him. He said, okay, Mukunda, come in. He said, no, okay. You have faith in my word. So therefore, whatever your offense you must have committed, I forgive you. So Mahaprabhu was very, very happy. And all that. So you can see the mentality of a devotee versus someone who is not yet a devotee. Like a Brahmana who was told that not for another millions of life before he could go to the spiritual world. So when he heard this, he was angry. He was angry, And then of course, he denied the capability of the Lord. But at the same time, we see that Mukunda, when he heard that, yes, the Lord said after 10 million lifetime, he'd be able to see him, he was very, very happy. He said, oh, this is a great celebration that, yes, I'll be able to see the Lord after 10 million lifetimes. So in this way, what we are reading in the scriptures, we always have to take it to heart. We have to believe what we're hearing in the scriptures, because without having the faith in what we're hearing, then our so-called chanting is just basically, it's just like a waste of time. If you don't believe in what we're reading and what we're hearing, when the Lord said, "I am the cause of all causes," then and then we start thinking that everybody is demigod, everybody that demigod. So how can we say that the Lord is so? But the Lord said, I am the brain behind all the demigods. All the demigods, without me, they will have no power. Without me, they will have no power. For example, here is mentioned here that the sun gives the rays of light to all the luminaries we see, the stars, the moon, everything that we see, the fire, electricity. The sun gives all the luminaries, all the energy. But who is behind the sun? Behind the sun is the Lord. It is the Brahma Jyoti. The Brahma Jyoti gives light to the sun. And what is Brahma Jyoti? Krishna said, Brahma noticed Taham. He said, Brahma Jyoti is coming from me. I'm the basis of the personal Brahma. I'm the base of it. So therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord said, Aham Savasha Prabhu, Mata Savan Prabhatate, Iti Mata Bhajantima, Buddha Bhava Samamrita, that yes, everything is generated from me. Everything that you can see, everything has generated from me, and nothing in existence is there without me. Nothing existing. Everything has come from me, and nothing existing can be there without me. So therefore, then he said, Iti Mata Bhajanti. Mom, he said, those who understands this, what's the Bhajanti? Mom, they worship me. And then they were Iti Mata Bhajanti, ma Bodha Bhava Samamrita. Bodha Bhava means they worship me with great feelings. With great feelings, they worship me. So which means devotees are the greatest knower of truth, because they know the Lord. They have the understanding of the Lord. So therefore, they don't waste their time in any other speculations. Like the Mayavadis. The Mayavadis, Mayavadi, they say that Aham, what is that? Aham Brahmashmi, that I'm spirit. Then Savakalum Idam Brahma, that everything is Brahman, but they don't go beyond that. They don't go beyond Brahma. They don't go beyond, when they say Savakalum Idam Brahma, they don't go beyond that. Yeah, everything is spirit. But what is behind this? What is behind it? So Brahmaji is in this, by a statement on Nadamuni here, he's talking of what is behind the spirit. What is behind it? What is behind the energy? There's the electricity. There's the electricity is there, which illuminates, which light our house. But behind the electricity is the electric house. Electric house is there. And in the electric house is the person that is there that is operating it. Without that person that is operating the electric house, then there'll be no electricity. The electricity will not function. So that person is that somebody has to be there who is operating it. And that person, the original operator, that is Krishna. That is the Supreme Lord. So that is what is being explained here in this verse by Lord Brahma to his son, Nada Muni. So, and In this way, the Brahma Jyoti is there. It was actually the base of everything. But the Brahma Jyoti, of course, is the bodily rays of the Lord. There are some other commentary on this verse which I've read. And this commentary basically explaining the same thing, that yes, the Brahman effulgence, this personal light that is coming from the Lord, this is the base of everything. And without that, nothing will manifest without that. So that is the faith of the Lord. That is the faith of the devotees. So devotees have this faith. So they're able to worship their Lord, because devotees, they have this faith. So, and then in the last paragraph of this verse, the Srila Prabhupada said, one should not expect the Lord to create like a blacksmith with a hammer and other instruments. The Lord creates by his potencies. He has multifarious potencies. Parasha Shakti Vividaiva Shriyate. This is quoted from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Just as the small seed of a banyan fruit has the potency to create a big banyan tree, the Lord disseminates all varieties of seeds by his potential Brahmajyoti, Swarojisa, and the seeds are made to develop by the watering process of persons like Brahma. Brahma cannot create the seeds, but he can manifest the seed into a tree, just as a gardener helps plants and orchards to grow by the watering process. So this chapter is appropriately named A Cause of All Causes. There are so many causes in the world. Many causes are there. But the cause of all causes is the Supreme Lord Krishna. He is the cause of all causes. So therefore, we always give all glories to the Supreme Lord. We always give all glories to his dear devotees, his pure devotees. Then our life can be blissful. We can blissfully perform, bhakti. Okay. So thank you. There's so many. I can see a lot of wonderful personality, a lot of wonderful souls on this platform. I can see Ganga Prasad is there. Bharat is there. Of course, we have our regular captain, Sadev, and a lot of Matajis are here. Gyana Chaksu, a very nice name, Gyana Chaksu. Somebody who can see with the knowledge. That's what Gyana Chaksu means. Wonderful name. So I'm finishing here. If anybody have any question, you can please ask. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, as always. Whenever you speak, we understand there is going to be a rainfall of slokas. You always quote lots of slokas, so that's beautiful. Dear devotees, if anyone has a question, comment, please, you may use the hand emoji or your physical hand to be asked on you to speak. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Govinda is...
Govinda Prabhuji, please, you be on mute.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah.
My respectful obeisances to you and my obeisances to everyone. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah.
Prabhu, thank you for your very wonderful presentation as always. I have a question concerning this Brahmana who doubted the ability of Krishna. And when Narada Muni returned back when the Lord told him the Brahmana is coming back after many millions of lifetimes, Narada may be wondering why he's coming back in million lifetimes upon all what he's doing. And so Krishna said, go and tell both of them like this. And so, yes, and when Narada came back and presented what was told by the Lord to him, to this Brahmana, it was truly revealed that he was not actually ready. But the question is, what was his motivation factor? Because one cannot do something for a very long time without having faith in what he's doing or without deriving any pleasure from what he's doing. So what was the motivation factor for which this Brahmana was so pakka, was so serious in his chanting, in his studies and everything? What was his motivation if he has that zero faith in Krishna?
Yeah, that's a very good question. That was the motivation. Just like many of us, we've been practicing for a long period of time, you know, but we seem to be in the same place. We seem to be in the same spot that we've been within here. Now, there's one story. There was a marriage party. The marriage party, they were supposed to go for a marriage ceremony, and they was and going. They were supposed to cross a river. So the marriage party, they went to riverside, and then they spoke to a boatman. A boatman was there, and they told the boatman that it was evening time. So they told the boatman that we have to cross the river, because on the other side we have to attend a marriage ceremony. So they told the boatman to carry them across. So all the marriage party, they all gone to the boat. So they gone to the boat, and the boatman started rowing the boat. So the boatman was rowing the boat, but he was rowing the boat all night long. And then the morning came, Brahma Muhurta came. So the marriage party, actually when the boatman was rowing, they were all sleeping. So they got up, they wake up, and they asked the boatman if they've arrived to their destination. So the boatman said, yes, of course, I think so, because I've been rowing the boat all night long. So we must have arrived at the destination. And then the party look around, and they found that they stayed at the same place they were before. They stayed at the same place. And there's a boatman that we are still at the same place. What happened? The boatman said, well, I've been rowing the boat all night long. I've been rowing the boat, so I don't know what happened. And then they look around, they found that the boatman did not remove the anchor. The anchor which tied the boat to the ground, the boatman did not remove it. So he was simply rowing the boat without removing the anchor. So the boat was not going nowhere. So similarly, the practice of spiritual life is like that. You know, when the anchor is not removed from the heart, the faithlessness is not removed. We want to be practicing, thinking that one will attain the destination. No, one can practice for millions, even just like when we said one of the offenses of chanting my mantra, that one can chant my mantra for millions and millions of lifetimes, for millions and millions of years, still he may not get anywhere, he may not get the destination. Whereas by one sincere chanting, one can immediately attain the destination by one sincere chanting. So this is a matter of faith. This is a matter of faith. So we are doing something, we don't have faith in the process, but we're still doing it. We're still doing it. So that's the thing. So it is a matter of faith. And that's why we always have to be questioning ourselves if you actually believe in what we are doing, if you actually believe in it. If there's actually if there's lack of faith, but still we are still doing it, but we are giving ourselves false hope, giving ourselves false hope. But giving yourself false hope, it's not going to achieve anything. You may give false hope, but there has to be, the real faith must be there. Strada, is the Strada Sabde Kohe Vishwana was what was that? The Strada's Kohe, my professor had the faith. The faith must be the underlying principles. So that's what Nadamuni could say that the Brahman has no faith, but the cobbler has faith. And that's why the Lord said that he's coming these lifetimes. Whereas the Brahmana is going to take it for another few million lifetimes. Because the Brahmana has no faith. So that's the thing. So of course, it's a lesson that we have to try to apply to ourselves. So which means the more we hear this, the more we have to be asking ourselves if we actually have faith, if our faith is growing, our faith in the Vaishnavas, our faith in the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, if our faith is actually growing. So that we have to be asking ourselves constantly, So I hope that's a little bit effort.
Yeah. Your last point has really convinced me. The faith has to be growing. I understand that part. Because without faith at all, I don't think we can do what we're doing. At least we have heard about Maha Mantra, what they can do. We've come to know that, not realize, but to know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We come to understand that taking Prashadam at least next lifetime, we have a human body. We have conviction in many things. And so we are flowing based on what we have heard so far, and that is faith. So talking of faith growing, that is really convincing. The faith has to grow, has to be more matured.
And
Thank you very much.
And I can see that you are driving to the spiritual world.
Hari.
So you have to take us along. You are driving
Hare Krishna.
So we can be your passenger.
Prabhu, for your question. Shima Vara Prabhu, please, you may unmute. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandava Pranam Prabhu. All glories to Prabhupada. All glories to all the seven devotees. Thank you very much. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay, fine. Just a little contribution to Govinda Prabhu's question. You said everything. Still, there's another side to it. The story you gave shows attachment because he hasn't really given up his attachment. But for learned persons like that, the attachment is another level. It's playing God. Somebody playing God. So the goal of his knowledge and all his practices is to present himself and to be worshipped by others. So actually his meditation is not very much about going to serve God, but his activities is doing it with faith. He has acquired enough knowledge and is presenting himself more, is playing God. That is it. Attachment to ego, pride. So it's not that he doesn't have faith. Otherwise, he could not have arrived at where he is with all that knowledge and everything. But the pitfall of wanting to be somebody, pitfall of wanting to have title, be honored, that is it. Eventually, we forget the goal and we think that, even God should recognize us. Everyone recognizes us already, so God also should recognize us. but it doesn't go that way. So anyway, that's my little contribution. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Anyone else with something to ask or say? Ishwara Prabhu, thank you for the class. I don't know whether this is a question. I think it's a question. We hear from the scriptures that when the earth was perturbed with sinful people, Mother Bhumi approached Sri Brahmaji, and Lord Brahma, together with the demigods and Mother Bhumi, they approached Lord Vishnu. But there they could not see Lord Vishnu. Nobody could even hear him. Only Lord Brahma could hear him. So here is Lord Brahma, the master of the universe, wanting to speak to the Lord, and he cannot even see him. But when the Lord appeared on this earth, Lord Brahma was not sure whether his Supreme Lord is this little boy. So he told the cows and the cowherd boys. So he learned. And then later on, he wanted to visit him when he was in Dwaraka. So he knew that, okay, this is the Supreme Lord. So my question is, how is it that it is not so easy for Lord Brahma and anybody else to see the Lord in his Vishnu form, not even like we read from the purport, the cause of all causes is Krishna. But when he appears, it becomes so easy. I wouldn't say so easy, but at least the access is much easier for beings who want to see him. So what do we learn from that? What do we learn from Krishna in his form as Vishnu? It's so difficult for the sages, for even Lord Brahma to see. But in his original form as Krishna, it's so accessible. And yet, living entities do not want to see him. Why these similar difficulties and incoherences? Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. And actually, there is the when you read the BHAGAVATAM, in the planet of Lord Brahma, in the Brahmaloka planets, there's a Vishnu form there called Hiranyagarbha. In that planet, the Lord is always personally present there, and Brahmaji and all these great rishis, daily they are performing sacrifices, they are making offerings, and the Lord is personally accepting the offering from their hand and eating it and taking the offering. So that is it. Now, of course, when all the demigods and the Brahmins and Lord Brahma, when you go to Lord Brahma, and they pray that to get relief for the sufferings of the earth, and whereby the demigod, they have to go to Lord Brahma, and the Lord Brahma had to go to. So then Lord Brahma take all the demigods along with them to the ocean of milk, whereby then there's a prayer to the Lord, and then the Lord communicates to the heart of Brahmaji, because Brahma is the only person who the Lord can communicate with. And then so the Lord communicates to Brahmaji, and the Brahmaji, he communicate whatever he heard from the Lord, and he communicate to the demigods. So that's one side. Now another side, as you mentioned, referring to that, how is it that it's so difficult to see Lord Vishnu? But it's very easy to see Lord Krishna when he came on the planet Earth. When he appeared himself, either in Vrindavan or in Dwarka, he become easily accessible. So that's always a great wonder also. It's a great wonder because any activities of the Lord is always a great source of wonder in the activities of the Lord. But the Lord is also played a supreme trickery because when Brahma, when he saw Krishna as a cowherd boy, and he saw him, actually Brahma know that this is God, this is the supreme Brahman, this is the supreme person of God, but he could not believe the way he's acting, that how can this God that is here, is wrestling with the cowherd boys, is exchanging their body and eating food. The cowherd boys, they are putting food on his mouth, they are taking food from their plate and put it in his mouth. And this is supposed to be God. This is supposed to be my God. So Brahmaji became kind of confused. He became confused. And then he decided to test. He said, let me test him. Let me just see what, now I'm going to steal the cowherd boys. I'm going to see what he will do. So Brahmaji, and then of course, story is there that he stole the cowherd boys and the calves and everything. He went to see what Krishna will do. But Krishna is Apta Karma, Krishna Atmaram. His enjoyment can never be stopped. So he simply immediately manifested the same numbers of boys, the same numbers of cowherd boys, immediately manifest them. So his enjoyment cannot be stopped. Now, this Leela, this we call it Brahma Vimoha Leela. The Leela was actually, is meant to confuse Brahma himself. To confuse him. And also, the Leela was also meant so that the Brijabasis, they can have a direct relationship with Lord Krishna. Because in this particular year, when Brahma stole all the friends of Krishna and the cows of Krishna, the calves. So that particular year, Krishna became all the cows, Krishna became all the friends, and then all the Brijabasis, they all have relationship with Lord Krishna. They all have direct relationship with Krishna in that particular. So all their desires were fulfilled. So many things happened. In the previous year, many young girls, they were praying that they wanted to have Krishna as their husband. So and then that year, when their parents got them married, they got them married to the same Krishna, because Krishna has become all the cowherd boys. So many pastimes took place. So even though the Brahmaji seems to be the culprit in this particular, but he also became like the facilitator of this particular of the Leela of the Lord. So and that's why when you read about the prayer of Lord Brahma in the chapter 14 of the Bhagavatam 10th canto, so Lord Brahma is saying that, oh my dear Lord Krishna, some people think that they know everything about you. Many think that they know everything about God. Brahma say, let them think that way. For me, let them think that way. Let them think that way. He said, for me, I cannot even begin to know the beginning of your glories. And then in another verse, he said that a time may come when the scholars, they'll be able to count how many grains of sand it's in the desert. They may be able to create how many grains of sand. Even though a time will come when they'll be able to count how many molecules are there, but even if they're able to do that, still they will never be able to count the extent of your glories. So this is coming from Lord Brahmaji. So, the Lord performed his Leela in pastime is a human-like, that's what it's called Naratmara Leela. It's human-like pastime just to favor the human being, so that they can actually be able to terminate their their materialistic existence. So therefore, Krishna becomes the Dali of Vrindavan or a Dwaka, or But at the same time, even though Krishna is there, but not everyone was able to recognize him as God. Not everyone. That's why so many demons, they were coming. They think they can kill God, they can kill Krishna, but they were unable to do so. When Krishna was walking in Dwaka, he was walking on the road, not everyone was able to say, oh, this is God. Why? Because even though God may stand in front of you, it's only if God wishes for you to know him. That's the only way you will know him. It's only by his will alone. It's only by his will. God stand before you. You not know that this is God. It's only if he wills, if he desires you to know him, that's the only time you can know him. Not any other way. He was in the battlefield. He was in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. He was standing on the chariot of Arjuna in the middle of millions and millions of soldiers, But even though he was standing, he was sitting on the chariot in the middle of all the warriors, but all the warriors saw Krishna. But only less than 10 people on the battlefield know him to be God. The 5 Pandavas, and then Bhishma Dev, Dronacharya, Kritavama, Kripacharya, just less than 10 personalities know that this is God. Everybody else don't know this. Everybody else, they just see an honorary person. Because if they all know that this is God, nobody will fight. Everybody will lay down their arms. Oh, this is God. Why are we fighting? But that's not the case. So therefore, we know God only if God allows us to know him, not any other way. Ourselves, we don't have power, we don't have capability to know God, but only when he wishes us to know him, that's when we can know him. There's one particular verse in the Upanishad that actually mentioned this, but I've kind of forgotten a little bit. It was was that verse? I know I've kind of forgotten a little bit, but there's one particular verse whereby the Lord only when he wishes for someone to know him, that's only when a person can know him, not by one's own effort. You can't know God if God does not wish for you to know him. And unless you develop a very keen desire to know him, that's the only way you can. That's the only way he can allow you to know him. You have to have a very keen desire, very deep desire. Anyway, there's a lot more we can talk about this. There's much more we can talk about this. But you've asked a very deep question. You've asked very deep question. You can ask. You can, I wish there could be a lot of time to actually. We can go at length in discussing this. How come, the demigods, they're unable to see Krishna, to see Vishnu. But here is Krishna, who is the original God, because Vishnu, all the Vishnu expansion forms, the all parts or plenary portions of Krishna. But here is Krishna himself, wandering about in Vrindavan or Mathura or Dwaka. Here is Krishna himself. So how come? So this is a source of perplexity. A source of perplexity that many sages, they are unable to even grasp the understanding of it. When one time Krishna was playing with his friends, and Devasmani was there. In Devasmani, he has got an ashram in Vrindavan. So Devasmani was there. Devasmani is a great sage. So he's a great sage. He's a great rishi, also a great mystic. So Krishna and his friend were playing, and then they were arguing with each other. So when they were arguing with each other that I'm right, you are wrong, this and that, and then they went to Devasmani that, hey, Baba, tell us who is right here, who is right, tell us. Krishna one day asked Devasmani. Devasmani know that this is Supreme God, this is Bhagavan, and it's coming to me this way as a child. So he became confused. He became totally speechless. He could not even open his mouth. And then Krishna went to him and the police behind. He said, "Hey, Baba, you become a dumb. You cannot say anything." And then Krishna and his friend, then they walk away, like this. So, there's no limit to how much your question can be answered. There's no limit.
Well, thank you so much, Prabhuji. When the answer you gave shows how much indebted we all are to Sri Prabhupada. So, His Grace Ganga Prasad Prabhu, please, you may mute.
Can give us some deep knowledge, Ganga Prabhu?
You're still muted, Prabhuji.
Unmute yourself. Hare Krishna, we can't hear you.
Yeah, because he's not unmuted yet. He's still muted. Okay,
Hare
good.
Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Dandava Pranam.
Dandavat, we can hear you now.
I became like what you just said now, that Krishna turned Dhruva's Muni to. I'm dumb, but I don't want to take your darshan. Hare Krishna.
You can give a nice comment. The great Ganga Prasad.
It's my pleasure to behold your darshan.
It's always nice. It's always nice to see you. We see you every day, having that kirtan on the altar.
Yes.
So that's good.
Yeah.
One
I'm
of
only
these-
trying to express the inspiration I derive from having associated a little with you.
Anyway, one of these days I come and join you there. One of these days
That would be nice.
I come and join you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for everything. Thank you for the class. And waiting to see you.
Any more questions? We have so many.
Yeah.
We have so many new people here. Any new people want to ask questions?
Yeah, let's see. We have Gul Dalmal, Ritika Kapoor.
Yeah, I invited Rika. I invited her, Rika, to Kapil.
Oh, okay.
So nice lady from India.
I just have a short question, if I may.
Please go ahead, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Can one be so determined to tell Krishna, if you were talking about he has to want to see you. Can you be so determined and say, I'm not taking no for an answer?
Not really, because Krishna is not subject to our order supplying.
No, I'm just joking,
But you can have what we call greediness.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can be greedy to be wanting to see God. And when you develop that intense greed to be wanting to see Him, it's possible. For example, what keeps us in this material world is greediness. But that greediness can be turned around by which instead of greedy for material things, we can be greedy for Krishna. We can be greedy to be in the association of his devotees and to hear about Krishna Katha. So is it through this intense greed that we have that will attract Krishna towards us. When you have intense greed,
It's all right.
which means no other desire for this material world, but desire only for Krishna. And you're ready to do anything and everything for it. Then Krishna will say, yeah.
Okay.
Then
Thank you.
Krishna means we engage in his service. What it means in Krishna, to engage in his service.
Okay. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for the question, Guru Prabhu. I had asked a similar question to His Holiness Devamrita Swami Maharaj just about maybe 2 months ago. And my question was, I sometimes feel guilty trying to perform devotional service because it is said that devotional service has to be performed purely. And if it is pure, it is without motivation. And I have a motivation. That I have a motivation as to why I'm trying to serve Krishna. And that is, I want to go back home, back to Godhead. And so I sometimes feel guilty that, okay, pure devotional service should be unmotivated. For uninterruption, I'm not so much worried about that because I'm going to be interrupted here and there anyway. But the motivation part is my biggie. So luckily for me and for Guru Prabhu and many other devotees, hopefully, is that Maharaj said, that is an exceptional motivation. It's allowed. So our eagerness to seeing Krishna may encourage Krishna to reveal himself to us. So, Hare Krishna. I just wanted to share that.
Yeah, and of course, as we make further progress, more advancement in devotional service, that the emphasis we start getting more and more into service, because as there's emphasis more and more into serving, service, whereby it doesn't really matter where we are. Was that not okay? So there's one verse whereby Lord Shiva was telling Parvati, he said that the devotee Swaga Pavaganarakesu, he said that devotee, they really don't care where they serve, where they are. They can be in the heavenly planets, they can be on this planet, they can be the earliest planet. It doesn't really matter where they serve. It doesn't matter where they are. They simply want to serve the Lord. They are ready to serve the Lord in the earliest planet. And we have the case of Anumaji, when Lord Ram, when he was going back after his pastimes in this planet, after his pastime in Ayodhya, and the Lord was going back to the spiritual world, and he was taking everybody with him. All the inhabitants of Ayodhya, including the Sugriva, Angadas and Vibhishan and everybody. He was taking all of them with him. And then, but Anuma, it's not going. So the Lord asked Anuma that, my dear Anuma, why are you not coming with us? You are my very dear servant. Why are you not coming? So Anuma said, my dear Lord, I just want you to give me a benediction that I want to be wherever your name is chanted. That's where I want to be in this world. I want to be wherever your name is chanted. That's just benediction that I want. That's my only desire. So and the Lord gave him this benediction. So therefore, wherever there's Ramkata, Hanuma will always have to be there. We always see the motive of Hanuma is always there wherever there's Ramkata, because that is the height of service. The height of service is to want to be in any situation. It's not that so much, okay, we want to go to the spiritual world. Because in the spiritual world, everybody is serving. Everybody is a servant of the Lord. But devotees, they can serve the Lord anywhere. They can serve the Lord here in this planet, any or heavenly planet, or in the earliest planet. But this will come to us as we grow more and more in our devotional service. As we grow, as everything becomes much more meaningful, become much more intensified in us, this will come much more, much more enhanced. So, yes, we have to be great. We have to desire that the Lord be with us. We have to have that great desire. So that's a good motivation, of course, to want to do anything. And the main thing is that We want to be absorbed in the service of the Lord. We want to be absorbed in that. That's the main thing.
Hare Krishna. Share Chakra Prabhu, please, you may unmute.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. We can hear you.
Okay. Thank you, Ishwara Prabhu, for your class. How you've been able to explain things to the basic level for deeper and deeper understanding. Now, my question is, sometimes these stories that we hear, like take for instance, Brahma being bewildered, sometimes to the extent that he doesn't even recognize the supremacy of Krishna. And we all know how powerful Brahma is. I mean, just hearing, even looking at these scientists, whatever they are creating. So if you compare it to Brahma's creation, then you realize that Brahma is really, really powerful. And he's the head of our Sampradaya. So if even this head can be bewildered, then what about us? Krishna said we should abandon everything and just surrender to him. I mean, for you to be able to abandon everything and completely surrender to Krishna, then you must know who Krishna is. I mean, you should know the person you are surrendering to. That you are fully convinced that I'm not surrendering to any just ordinary being, and one day that might disappoint me. But if great personalities like Brahma can be bewildered and sometimes they even doubt the supremacy of the Lord, is that not like a discouraging thing to us? We are like nothing, low down somewhere. So where does our encouragement stand? So what is there for us to encourage us to be able to actually have some little bit of a faith that, oh, after all, we are on the right path of surrendering to the right person. I hope you get the question I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I get your question. So these 3 chapters of the Bhagavatam 10th canto, 12, 13, and 14, which deal with the Brahma Vimoha Lila, or the pastimes of the bewilderment of Lord Brahma. Now, and of course, as you say, and everybody knows that Brahmaji is the head of our Sampradaya, is the first guru. We are called a Brahma Madhya Guru Sampradaya. These 3 chapters, there are some Sampradaya, actually, the Madhva Sampradaya. Now, we are coming from Madhva Sampradaya. We are Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. But the Madhva Sampradaya, because of this keen understanding that Guru, especially the Adi Guru, can never be bewildered, so they don't accept these 3 chapters of the Bhagavatam. To them, they say these 3 chapters, this is an interpolation. That interpolation. Interpolation means it's chapters that was inserted into the Bhagavatam. Actually, many scriptures are full of interpolations. Many scriptures are there. Even the Ramayana is also full of interpolation. Mahabharata is full of interpolations, whereby the certain persons will add certain compositions just because to express certain things. They will have certain composition into the text of the scriptures. For example, as Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is explaining, there's one book I'm publishing. Actually, this book is coming out in the next 2 weeks. It's called Prabhu. And this book, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is explaining that the original Mahabharata.
What is the title, Prabhu?
It's called Prabhu Valley.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a new book that is coming out. So in this book, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying that the original Mahabharata is not really 100,000. That original Mahabharata was composed by VWS, Visudev. A lot of verses, but over time, many authors, sages, they added to it to make up to 100,000 that we have today. So therefore we have 1 lakh, we have 100,000 verses of Mahabharata. So it's possible that yes, there can be certain interpolations whereby the original is not by the original author. So therefore the Madhva Sampradaya, they don't accept these 3 chapters. But however, we accept it. Why do you accept? Because Chaitanya Prabhu accepted. Chaitanya Prabhu is Krishna himself. So if he accept it, so we also accept it. So even though the Madhva, they may have a different understanding, but their main reason of not accepting is this very reason of the Guru, which cannot be subject to bewilderment. The Guru cannot be subject to bewilderment. So therefore, the notion that Brahmaji became bewildered and all that. So therefore, that notion was kind of rejected through the rejection of these 3 chapters, 12, 13, and 14. Then we go, yes, we accept it. Why? Because our understanding that this lila is actually engineered by the Lord himself. There's a book written by Jiva Goswami called Gopal Champu, and this nicely explains about the whole Rajlila, the whole pastimes of Vrindavan of the Lord, how the desires of the Prajabasis, how the elderly men, they want their daughters to be married to Krishna, all of them, but at the same time, Purnamasti, who is actually Yogamaya herself, he said, no, she has a different plan, that no, these girls should not marry to Krishna, but rather they should be Krishna's paramour. So anyway, so therefore, this pastime is there, that this pastime of Brahma is a creation itself, which means a desire of the Lord himself. And by the time we read this lila, but we have to read this lila along with the commentary. There are commentaries of this lila. There's one book I published, it's called The Symphony of Commentaries, which actually feature about 13 or 14 different commentaries of different acharyas. That by the time we finish reading all this commentary, we will come to understanding what is this pastime is all about. What is this pastime is all about? That yes, as you said, it's not, if person like Brahma can be confused about us, what is our position? But what's our position? Our position is simply to be humble. It's to be humble to understand that yes, the Lord's pastime is great. But how can we understand the Lord's pastime? We cannot understand the Lord's pastime by our own efforts, only by the mercy of devotees. And we can only understand the Lord's pastime only by as much as he enables us to understand. We can never know the Lord completely. Only as much as he wishes us to know him. And to that effort, to that he wishes us to know him, is to that method we're able to worship, we're able to do his bhajan, we're able to do his worship. So, it's we can keep thinking, we can keep meditating on this thing. And the more we meditate on this, the more we think about it, the main thing that we have to understand that yes, the Lord is always wonderful. His pastimes are wonderful. It's called Adbhuta. It's wonderful. And not only wonderful, it's very, very sweet. Many great acharyas like Bhivamanga Thakur, Vallabhacharya, they've all compose very beautiful stories of how the Lord's pastime is so sweet, it's so wonderful, it's so, so many things like that. Sometimes you can tune into ISKCON Vrindavan Bhagavatam classes. Sometimes we describe some of these leelas in the ISKCON Vrindavan, Bhagavatam lectures. Sometimes you can tune in and hear some of them. That yes, the Lord is wonderful, his pastime is wonderful. So we can just think of that only. We just take it, that's all. Everything is wonderful about the Lord, that's all. And that wonder is unlimitedly Wonderful. Unlimitedly wonderful. That's how we can say it. When I speak, I don't want to stop speaking.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Shrimad Prabhu, you have something to say, please, you may unmute.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Anyway, thank you for at least concluding that this is Lila. The Lila between Krishna and his devotees to make many things, to reveal many more things about his glory. So this, I think we should understand that it's a Lila. And then, Prabhu, the story you mentioned about Hanuman not wanting to go with Ramachandra and the benediction he asked for. So just want to quickly add this story, for the pleasure of the listener, pleasure of devotees. So there was a temple in India where they were doing the Ramakatha. And in this temple, they will put a chair for Hanuman, not his murti. They just put an empty chair. And they say it's the asan for Hanuman because he had already asked that wherever there is Ramkatha, he will be seated there. He will be there. So they believe he's there and they always give his asan. So there was one gentleman who queried what they were doing. Said, what is this? Why you believe in something? Hanuman is not there. So why are you saying Hanuman is here? And the pujari of the temple said, okay, no problem. Tomorrow, if you want to know Hanuman is there or not, when we put the seat there, go and remove the seat. So the following day, they started the Ramkatha and the pujari prayed, Hanuman, this is your seat. You are here, wherever there's Ramkatha, you are there. So then they asked the gentleman in the middle of the kata to go and lift the chair, to remove the chair from there because for him, Hanuman is not there. And he went to try to lift this empty seat and he couldn't lift it. The seat would just not budge. And they asked him to get the help of other people. Maybe the chair is too heavy for him alone. And then he called people to come and help him. They couldn't budge the seat. The seat just stayed stuck there. Then everyone started shouting, Bajranga Bali, Bajranga Hanuman Ki Jai, Hanuman Ki Jai. So Hanuman was always present. He got that benediction and he was always present wherever there's Ramkatha. That is his own Vaikuntha. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu, for the opportunity.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for sharing.
So I think some of us are in India. It's 10:30.
Yeah.
So I think we should conclude.
Thank you so much.
I know we don't want to start, but it's good for you, all of you here in India.
Yeah, it's late.
I have to wake up in Mangalore tomorrow morning.
Very late.
I'm sorry, I have a question.
All right. Okay. All right. Go ahead. Go ahead before our speaker goes.
But are we ending the class now?
Yes. We're ending, but you may ask your question, please.
Yes. Today it was about SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM 2.5.11.
Yes.
Yes. And in the translation, I see that, quote, I create after the Lord's creation by his personal effulgence. And this is Lord Brahmaji again speaking, known as the Brahmajyoti. Just as when the sun manifests its fire, the moon, the firmament, the influential planets, and the twinkling stars also manifest their brightness. So, end quote. So based on this translation, my exact question is, here we see that Lord Brahmaji is creating after the Lord. So based on this, my exact question is it that when we do anything and everything, to what measure should we take in consideration the the counseling and the advice of the disciplic succession, because I don't see the Lord himself directly giving us instructions. It may happen. Nothing is possible for the Lord. But in order for us to do anything and everything, to what measure should we take in consideration the advice and the instructions of the disciplic succession represented in the case that we are initiated devotees by the Guru who gave us initiation? Or can we do it without taking in consideration their instructions and choose and go for instead doing it on our own, based on our own speculations and things of the sort? What is the importance of the advice of the members of the Guru Parampara in order for us to act in the proper way? That is my question.
Okay, thank you very much. And for Brahma, being a creator, but is the engineer. Just like you have, when you want to build a building, you, who is the owner of the building, you supply all the ingredients, all the materials. The architect or the engineer comes and just put everything all together. But you do this based on your desire. So Brahma just like that. He's the engineer of the universe. The ingredient is come from God, the Lord. And Brahma simply put everything together like this through his various sounds and So now your question about the parampara system, or that yes, everything we'll do in spiritual life is all according to the instruction that we receive from the parampara or the authority of the Guru, because we cannot do anything based on our own whims. Otherwise, we create disturbance. We cannot do anything based on our own imagination. Otherwise, everything becomes full of confusion with us. So everything we'll do has to be according to the authority, has to be what we've heard from the authorities. In this, our authority means the Guru, Sadhu, and Sastra. Has to be he mentioned that Yasa Devi Parabhakti Yata Devi Tata Guru Tashanti Prakriyata Prashanti Mahatmana. So which means that what we hear from Guru and scriptures, that's how we process our bhakti is based on that. We cannot do anything according to our own imagination. We cannot then. So now, if we do things according to the direction of authority, then we see that everything becomes successful. And then we will find meaningful. We will find happiness in everything that we do, if we do and follow the directions of the authority. Authority means the Guru, Sadhu, and Sasha. We follow their directions. We do things according to that, then we see the meaningful, we see the success. The success will be there in all our endeavors. So to conclude, he said, Yasha Prasada, Bhagava Prasado, Yasha Prasada Nagati Kutopi, which means by whose mercy one attain the mercy of God, and without whose mercy one cannot attain the mercy of God. So that should be the conclusion. That should be the aim of our life. Every day devotee, we sing this song every day in our temple. Yasha Prasada Bhagavat Prasado, Yasha Prasada Nagati Kutopi. By whose mercy we get the mercy of God, and without whose mercy we cannot attain the goal of life. Okay? So thank you very much.
Yes, Prabhu, just a very quick comment before we end the session, based on your very helpful, most wonderful answer to my question. When Srila Prabhupada, and I think you know this better than me, when Srila Prabhupada got from Bhaktisiddhanta, his initiating guru, the instruction to come to the Western worlds in order to preach in English the message of Bhakti, Bhaktisiddhanta didn't ask him, first you become rich and then you go and preach. No, he gave a very simple instruction. Go to the Western countries and preach the Bhakti message in English language. Then, after receiving such instruction, Srila Prabhupada thought maybe it would be better to first become a rich chemist. That was his business. And then with enough money, he could be there fulfilling the instruction of his Guru Maharaj. But what happened? Krishna made the simple instruction of Bhaktisiddhanta to prevail above the attempt of Srila Prabhupada to become rich and financially successful, in such a way that he made Srila Prabhupada a beggar at the door of Srimati Morarji, because he didn't even have the money for a boat ticket to cross the ocean. And he stayed at the door of Srimati Morarji for more than 1 month, literally begging for the ticket. And when he arrived at the United States of America, he was penniless. He had nothing, only a box with a few Srimad Bhagavatams. So I find it amazing that because of the love Lord Krishna had and still has by Bhaktisiddhanta, that Krishna made the simple instruction to prevail, which was go and preach. I'm not asking you to become rich and preach. Go and preach. It doesn't matter if you go penniless or poor or not. I just want for you to go and preach, and everything will be added to it. Material success and spiritual success, and that happened. So related to follow the instructions of the Guru Parampara in order to become successful, we shouldn't speculate. And the life of Srila Prabhupada is the best of examples.
So anyway, I don't know how you got that idea that Prabhupada wanted to be rich first before I go and preach. So
now in Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita, we see that he tried to become materially successful before fulfilling the instruction of his Guru Maharaj, which was go to the Western countries and preach.
Anyway, we already did Lilamrita. So anyway, it's a good idea you have that, yes, the Prabhupada, he always followed the order of his Guru.
Yes, but first he tried to become rich and in order to fulfill the instruction of his Guru Maharaj in a best way, but that was not the exact instruction. Bhaktisiddhanta didn't ask him first become rich and then go and preach. No, he just said just preach, and that's what happened. That was at the very end. That was what happened. He became. His financial condition was not important. The preaching was important. That was the instruction of his Guru Maharaj.
You have to read a very authorized biography. Also, many devotees have written so many things about Prabhupada. Some of them may be true, some of them may not be true. But nonetheless, Prabhupada was a pure devotee of Krishna, and Prabhupada said there was never a single time whereby he forgot Krishna. Prabhupada always remember Krishna. So, okay, anyway, so I want to say something that we shall take into heart, which means next month is the month of Bhadra. No, that is actually, the month of Bhadra is the month that Krishna made his appearance. So the month of Bhadra begins from the middle of the third week of next month. The month of Bhadra begins. Yeah. So the month of Bhadra, there's a day called Bhadra Punim, and whereby it's very much a very auspicious day. Punima is always the fourth day after the Ekadasi. So the Ekadasi, there come the after Lord Krishna's Janmashtami, That Ekadasi is Bhadra Ekadasi, and then there's a Bhadra Purnima, which is like for the, so Bhadra, this year Bhadra Purnima is going to be around the 13th or 14th of September. So this is the day to, if you don't have Bhagavatam, you should get some Bhagavatam. Or if you have Bhagavatam, this is the day to donate Bhagavatam. So, and he mentioned that anyone who take Bhagavatam and install it in someone's house on a throne on the auspicious day of Bhadra Purnima, that person is guaranteed to go back home, back to Godhead. So if you want to go back to spiritual world, get as much Srimad Bhagavatam as possible into the homes of others. If you don't have it in your house, and if you already have it in others' house, and encourage all others to also have it, especially on Bhadra Purnima. So this has become something like all over ISKCON now. We are trying to encourage everyone to distribute, to have as much as possible Srimad Bhagavatam in people's hands. So maybe every Bhagavatam class you can emphasize this. Every Bhagavatam class you can emphasize to the devotees. Okay.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Right. Hare Krishna.
And we thank you all, dear devotees, for your patience, your love, dedication to Srimad Bhagavatam Katha. And we can't thank our speaker enough, staying up this much late, at least 2-3 times in a month with us throughout the years. Prabhuji, we thank you very much. So at this point, we're going to humbly request all the devotees to kindly unmute, and we all chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to express our appreciation to all the to our revered speaker, Jai. Please. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Ishvara Prabhu ki Jai Ho.
I saw Ganga Precious. I was going to glorify Ganga Precious. I saw
Ganga Prasad Prabhu ki
Sadev, Sadev.
Please, Arbo. Hold on.
Hare Krishna, Sadev.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, please, you and